Okay, so I've been hearing about this generative fill that's in the new Photoshop beta and finally got around with trying it out today. Wow. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, this video is for you because I'm going to go through a few different images and show you some of the things that you can do with this software, which is really crazy. Again, it's still in the beta stages, so you need to make sure you have Photoshop beta for one thing. You have to have a Creative Cloud membership. If you do, you're going to go to your Creative Cloud account, and there on the left side you will see the option for beta apps, and you will see Photoshop beta. You just need to download and install that. Once you get that all downloaded, you are ready to go. If you haven't already done so, please take a second to subscribe to the channel. Make sure you ring the bell because it really does help the channel. So I'm going to run through this software with a few different images, and then at the end I'm going to kind of give you my thoughts on what's good about it and what's not so good about it, and maybe some potential uses for it. So without any further ado, let's roll the intro. So here we are in Photoshop beta, and I've got a few different images for us to work with here. And I'm starting out with this ocean crashing against the rocks here. And we're going to see what we can do with this. And first thing I want to show you is how to make more space. Say you look at this image and go, man, I wish I had left a little more here on the right side, or I wanted more on the left. One thing you can do is go up here to Image Canvas Size. We'll have this on relative, and I'm just going to add 6 inches. Let's do 6 inches of width, 3 on each side, like that. Then all we have to do is we've got this selection rectangular tool. We're going to highlight the area that we want to fill and give just a little bit of that. So you can see I've got just a touch of this. Then I'm going to hit Generative Fill. And we don't want anything special here. We want it just to extend this on, so I'm just going to hit Generate. Let this go for a second. It's not super fast, but not terribly slow considering what it's doing. And there you go. It has filled that out. If you look over here on the right, it's actually given us 3 options. And so there's option 1, option 2, option 3. Let's go with 1. I think 1's pretty good. And let's do the same thing on this side. Again, we're going to highlight this area, give just a little bit overlap there. Hit Generate. See if we have as much luck. I'm going to be curious to see what it does with this little inlet right here, if it just continues it on across or if it caps it. Okay, looks like it's sending it on across. That's option 1. Oh, option 2's kind of stopped it right there. I kind of like that one. I like where it's coming through a little bit like that. Let's go with that. So we're going to keep that one for right now. All right, so now let's do some crazy stuff. Let's say we want to go out here. I'm just going to get my lasso tool and select kind of a general area out here. And let's say we want we're going to do Generative Fill. And in this box here, we can type in what we would like it to put in here. So I'm going to put a pirate ship and hit Generate. And we will let this work, and it should put a pirate ship in here somewhere. Now, how it's going to look, we will have to see how that is. Okay, there it is. I don't think the light really matches really well on that, but it did put a pirate ship out here. Let's try a couple more. Nope. All right, I think that's the best of the 3, but I'm not crazy about it. So while that's highlighted over here, I'm going to go ahead and hit Generate again. All right, that's a little bit better. Let's see what other options it gave us. That's not right. That one's not bad right there. I think that works okay. Kind of flat, but I think that works okay. It's added a little bit of waves back here at the back. So I think that works. Okay, let's do this now. Let's go ahead and select a little area up here. And let's just say birds. I'm typing it over here, by the way, in this prompt, Generate, which looks like it does the same thing if you do it here or if you do it underneath. So I'm just kind of skipping a step and jumping right in there. Oh my gosh, that's a gigantic bird. Okay, so maybe we need to say flock of small birds. See what that does. Okay, that's a little bit better. Let's see what some of our options are. I think that one works pretty well. You can grab this, by the way, right here and move this out of the way. They might be a little too dark, so I might come to this layer and just kind of bring down that opacity a little bit. I think that's better. Which, by the way, what you would probably want to do here is go back and label all these so you knew which was what. Things like that. But as you can see, it's not great. It's still in the beta stage, of course. But that's kind of how it would work on an image like that. Let's jump to something different. Let's take a look at this studio shot of this puppy. So again, we're going to start out with select subject. Because what we want to do is select all the area around him. We're not trying to change him. We're trying to change the area around him. So do select subject. So he's selected. And then we're going to select inverse. Right there. So now we've got all this background area and we can decide where we want to put this dog. So at generative fill, we could say on a sidewalk near a park. Like a logical place for dog to be. Let's see what it comes up with. And that's not bad. Yeah, you can see that he's lit from the left in the source image, and they've added these drop shadows here. And I think you could post this online and it would just look like a normal picture. I don't know that anybody would necessarily catch on to what was going on with that. I think that looks good, but let's look at some of the options. Now, they're not all going to be good. That one's not terrible, but I think that one's great. So dropping something into a scene works really well. So we're going to try and take that now with a little more complicated version with this guy. And this was just shot on a plain gray. So this is certainly something you could do, photographing on gray and then deciding later what you want to do. And so one of the things I want to do is let's combine a few of the things. I'm going to turn off the background here, double click so we can extend it. I'm going to go ahead and give ourselves some space on both sides. So we will do image canvas size. Switch this to inches and we'll 8-inch there. Okay. Get back to our rectangle, and again we're selecting the area, giving just a little bit of overlay. Okay, we got a little bit of a line coming through here. See if that looks any better on any of these other ones. Not great, but we'll probably get rid of that later anyways. It's not a big deal. So let's add this other side to it. Just like that. Generate. Okay, so now we've got him on a little more space here. Let's go ahead and flatten this. So layer, flatten image. Just so we have a little bit smaller file size to deal with. Since we're working through the cloud, make things go a little bit faster. All right, so now let's see where we can drop this guy in. And so we'll select the subject first of all. And we are going to select inverse. So now we've got this background selected. Now it's just a matter of deciding, hit generative fill. And let's say we want him in a, maybe in a locker room. Makes sense. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, I guess that's a locker room. That's not bad. It's not very pretty, but not crazy about that. Let's see maybe school hallway. Give this one a shot. Oh, that's not terrible. I kind of like that, or it looks like he's in a hallway there. It's not bad. It's a little more realistic, but it's not, again, not very attractive. So let's come back up here under the prompt. Let's try putting him in a football stadium with lightning. See what this does. Okay, not terrible. So these all work. It doesn't quite look like he's in there, mostly because of the way he's lit. He's lit more from the front. This would be a lot of really strong backlight, so that type of a scene's not going to work. That's one of the things you're going to have to kind of keep in mind is what that light is looking like on his face. So let's try going a different direction. Let's do like maybe a put him in like a metal hallway with dramatic light. Some of this is going to be luck of the draw. It's going to be a matter of learning what you need to type in there to get kind of the look you're going for. And that's not terrible. I don't mind that one. I'm not crazy about that kind of a distracting bright light. But it does look like he's in that scene. I think as far as dropping him into the scene, I think it works pretty well. So you can kind of see that it really is amazing. I mean, for something that's still in the beta stages, you can make these amazing changes. And, you know, I think a lot of it, like I said, is going to be just trying things out. And so while it is probably going to take a little bit of trial and error to find things that work for what you want, you can see that it's definitely possible to get nice results, even with this beta software. So there you go. You can see that the results range anywhere from pretty poor to pretty crazy good. And I think it's going to be a little bit of hit or miss for a while. Maybe by the time it becomes a full release, it'll be even better. I'm assuming it'll be better. So what kind of things is this going to be really good for? I think it's going to be great for just personal images, maybe travel images and things like that, that you want to add a little bird to something, or take something out, or extend the scene a little bit. I think it's going to be really handy for extending the edges of your scene. That's pretty cool. What it's not going to be useful for, not really sure about for client work, whether you're going to be able to incorporate some of those things. So I think you'd kind of be getting into a sticky area, especially if you're trying to enter some sort of photo competitions and things like that that required you to have your own images involved. So I think there's a lot that it can really do to help, and then I think there's going to be certainly some limitations to it. So you're going to have to play around with it, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm very anxious to see where they go with this software and just how good it can become. But let me know what you think. Would love to hear your thoughts on where you think this is going and whether you think it's even a useful piece of software. Leave me a comment below. I would love to hear your thoughts, and I'll make sure and reply to you and answer any of your questions. So that's all I've got for this week. I hope to see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.